We're given the lengths of 3 broomsticks. The red broomstick is 3 feet, the yellow broomstick is 4 feet, and the green broomstick is 6 feet. For question number 1, how much longer is the green broomstick than the red broomstick? And we're asked to give an additive comparison as well as a multiplicative comparison. For the additive comparison, we need to determine what we have to add to the length of the red broomstick to get the length of the green broomstick. Well, the red broomstick again is 3 feet, so 3 feet plus 3 feet is equal to 6 feet, the length of the green broomstick. So because we use the process of adding 3 feet to the length of the red broomstick to get the length of the green broomstick, we now know for the additive comparison, the green broomstick is 3 feet longer than the length of the red broomstick. Now for the multiplicative comparison, we need to determine what we have to multiply the length of the red broomstick by to get the length of the green broomstick. So 3 feet times some value must equal 6 feet. Well, because 3 feet times 2 is equal to 6 feet, so the times 2 indicates that the green broomstick is 2 times longer than the red broomstick. Notice how for the additive comparison we include the units of feet because we're adding 3 feet to the length of the red broomstick to get the length of the green broomstick. And for the multiplicative comparison we don't include feet because we multiplied by 2, not by 2 feet, to get the length of the green broomstick. And for number 2, we're asked how much longer is the yellow broomstick than the red broomstick. The yellow broomstick is 4 feet, and the red broomstick is 3 feet. So for the additive comparison, we begin with the length of the red broomstick, which is 3 feet. We need to add a length to get the length of the yellow broomstick, which is 4 feet. So 3 feet plus 1 foot is equal to 4 feet. So because we have plus 1 foot, we know the length of the yellow broomstick is 1 foot longer than the length of the red broomstick. Now for the multiplicative comparison, we begin with 3 feet. We need to multiply by some value to get the length of the yellow broomstick, which is 4 feet. Now here this question isn't quite as easy. To figure out what we have to multiply 3 feet by to get 4 feet, we need to figure out how many 3's are in 4 or how many copies of 3 are in 4. Well, 1 copy of 3 would be 3, a third of copy of 3 would be 1, and therefore there's 1 1/3 copies of 3 and 4, which means 3 feet times 1 1/3 is equal to 4 feet, and therefore the yellow broomstick is 1 1/3 times longer than the red broomstick. Before we look at our last 2 questions, let's look at some notes. More formally, when we use additive reasoning, we're looking at absolute change between 2 quantities, where the absolute change would be the amount we add to the old quantity to get the new quantity. And we can always calculate the absolute change by taking the new quantity and subtracting the old quantity. And for multiplicative reasoning, we're looking at the relative change between 2 quantities, where the relative change would be the amount we multiply the old quantity by to get the new quantity. And we can calculate the relative change by taking the new quantity and dividing by the old quantity. So if needed, we can always use these formulas for additive and multiplicative reasoning. Number 3, we're asked to complete the statement. The green broomstick is how many times as long as the yellow broomstick? The first thing to recognize here is because it says times, we're only using multiplicative reasoning. So again, we're trying to determine the green broomstick is how many times as long as the yellow broomstick. So using multiplicative reasoning, we begin with the length of the yellow broomstick, which is 4 feet. So 4 feet times some value is equal to the length of the green broomstick, which is 6 feet. To answer this question, we can ask ourselves how many copies of 4 are in 6. So here's 1 4. So notice how there's 1 4 in 6, but we need 2 more to make up 6, And notice that half of 4 is 2. So this will be another half of 4. So there's 1.5 copies of 4 in 6, which means 4 feet times 1.5 is equal to 6 feet, and therefore the green broomstick is 1.5 times as long as the yellow broomstick. Now we can also use the formula for relative change. Remember, the relative change is equal to the new quantity divided by the old quantity, which in this case would be the length of the green broomstick divided by the length of the yellow broomstick, which would be 6 feet divided by 4 feet. The units of feet simplify out, giving us 6/4, which equals 3/2, which equals 1.5. So we could say the green broomstick is 1.5 times, or 3/2 times, or even 6/4 times as long as the yellow broomstick. Now for number 4, the statement is similar, but the order of the broomsticks has been reversed. Number 4 reads, the yellow broomstick is how many times as long as the green broomstick? The length of the yellow broomstick is less than the length of the green broomstick, and therefore the value here is going to be less than 1. So here we begin with the length of the green broomstick, which is 6 feet. So 6 feet times some value is equal to the length of the yellow broomstick, which is 4 feet. Another way to think of this is how many copies of 6 are in 4. To determine how many copies of 6 are in 4, we would have to cut our partition 6 into 3 equal parts or pieces. And notice how it takes 2 of the 3 parts to make up 4, or 2/3 copies of 6 equals 4. So 6 feet times 2/3 equals 4 feet, which means the yellow broomstick is 2/3 times as long as the green broomstick. We're using the formula for relative change. New quantity divided by old quantity would now be 4 feet divided by 6 feet. Simplifying, the feet simplify out, so we get 4/6, which does equal 2/3. So the yellow broomstick is 2/3 or 4/6 times as long as the green broomstick. I hope you found this helpful.